Welcome to 𝐄𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐂. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. It's the recording time of 9:23 a.m. on Eastern Time on October 6th on Thursday. Hope you guys have a good week so far. We are almost in the mid of October. I mean, I'm kidding. We are still 7 days away, but it feels like it. And respect to overall market on this Thursday morning so far, we are basically 7 minutes away from market opening. Across the spectrum, I would say taking a look at the index front so far, we are across the board relatively flat, but seems like with respect to the 10-year yields, it's rising again at 3.77%. Obviously with respect to just negative foreshadow with the upcoming CPI report that's coming, combined with a lot of corporate adjustments that we've been seeing across the spectrum so far, right? Amazon announcing that they will be freezing their hiring activities on the retail front. It seems like this morning we're also seeing that Peloton is slashing 500 more jobs as it raises to return to growth. Return to growth. What does that even mean exactly in this downturn that we're experiencing right now? I know they made a relatively large capex investments onto doing some sort of like a rowing machine. I don't even know what that means, but it costs like $3,650. I don't personally have a Peloton, nor do I really use a Peloton. I just use a regular bike. But there are definitely loyal fans to it. But that $3,650 for a rowing machine, it's a little bit expensive. No matter how much money you have in your bank account, it's still quite pricey. It could be like a nice centerpiece for your living room or for your basement if you have a gym or something like that. But with this large capex expenditure, with this downturn, people are slowly trying to come back out into the from home, working at the gym now. It seems like the pandemic, type of ecosystem that we've have had before, well, like obviously a couple months and quarters ago, is less severe now, right? People are, cautious, but it's not like this the primary factor, and people are not as cautious like before. Like people, I remember everybody was wearing masks, indoor and outdoor, and indoor dining was restricted completely. But now, it seems like people in the subway. I'm just speaking from the New York City perspective, right? No one's really wearing masks anymore. Like there are like 35% of the people that you see on the day-to-day basis in the city. I'm talking about Manhattan and Queens, which is where I kind of live, are wearing masks. So people are starting to actually go back to the local public gyms now, right? Which I see a lot of people is always packed nowadays. Like for me, when I'm going. In addition to that, I'm also seeing other news. It seems like all these news are quite, kind of a mixed bag. Nothing really particularly leaning one side of the spectrum, but across the board is it definitely has like the negative foreshadow feel. Nothing really a key driver per se, but obviously, this the upcoming catalyst is basically in 7 days with CPI report. We've heard from the positive job number so far, from the ADP report came out not too long ago, like 48 hours ago. So before we dive into technical, let's just take a look at some of the whales activity so far. Seems like yesterday they sold a decent amount, not as severe as like they used to, but there's definitely more selling pressure than buying pressure. You can see that across the board. ARK Invest sold basically most of their the stocks. They didn't really buy anything, and there's no changes in a lot of stocks, so they were just mostly selling yesterday. So that's ARK Invest. In respect to, before we go to the politician side, it seems like Adobe, Microsoft, Salesforce, Mandiant, Monolithic Power System, and all of these companies were being dumped by BlackRock yesterday. There were no changes either on these selective stocks below, and there were some buying pressure, but this is more of like a normalization exercise, I would believe. So across the spectrum, it was definitely yesterday was definitely more of a sell day in comparisons to days ago when we saw that like slight pump from the buy the rumor, sell the news type of affectation. And then on the political side of the equation, you could see that there's been some activity, buying activity, but nothing crazy, right? Something small here and there, around these specific stocks like XLE, SCI. I don't know what these are particularly, but that's what they're doing. So it seems like they're just kind of sitting on a sideline at the moment. Nothing majorly happening, but I do foresee, as we approach closer to the CPI report, it should technically be more active then. And let's just dive into technical without wasting more time. We're 2 minutes away from market opening. Respective recording time of 9:28. Well, it's gonna be 29 now. 1 minute away. We are 1361. So we are basically gluing around 1350 as a resistance level. On a daily, still bearish, right? Double heads, double heads. And on the daily, you are still, quite extended. We could technically keep running up to 1450, but that's about it. That's the, next level of resistance. But we already seen the double heads from the weekly, so, that could be quite tough. And on the monthly, this large separation, we are at the 45 out of 70. So yeah, it's again, right, still bearish in the near term, until we recuperate and revive from here. On the Bitcoin side of the equation, I would say it's quite comparable. Monthly is large separation. Weekly, moderate separation. But you could see that we need to kind of cross down before we cross up with this double heads, right? And then on the daily, large separation. So I do foresee some, more volatilities, surprisingly, on Bitcoin than Ethereum for, based on the technical front. And across the altcoin side of the equation, it's quite mixed bag, right? Nothing really up or down. Obviously, some altcoins is going to be trading a little bit more volatile than others. But in that respect, it's still up or down like 1 to 2% so far. Nothing crazy. And on the index front, again, right, flat, right? Just down 0.5 or 0.25% across the spectrum. And then on the stock side, also flat, nothing really driving anything specifically. And remember, it is a Jewish holiday this week, right? I recall it's Yom Kippur. It begins today, and I believe it ended on Wednesday, on the 5th. But I believe a lot of people in the Jewish community are actually taking time off for the rest of the week, just to capture the long weekend, and collectively. So it'll be technically like a 6th straight day. If you combine Columbus Day on the 10th of October, which technically is a holiday as well, right? So that could be like a elongated, intentional weekend, if you may. So appreciate you. Have a good rest of the day. It's a relatively flat day again, which is not surprising, because the major catalyst that's coming is still layering on in later in the week. So watch out for those, and we'll keep looking out for other factors that we need to be incorporated into our thesis. But it seems like the sentiment on the psychological front is still holds. So appreciate you. Have a good day. Take care.